Welcome back, everybody. It is time to talk about the second episode of the brand new Digimon Adventure, a show that's maintaining a fairly good amount of popularity, which I'm pretty excited about. That's kind of nice. This week's episode, we saw the triumphant return of many anime fans' first edge boy, Matt. I swear I'll get the Japanese names right later. That's right. Look at this guy. Look at all that edge. You could cut yourself on it. So Matt sort of is very important in the Digimon lore. He's kind of like Tai's rival character. He's got the only other Mega in the first season. And most importantly, in my opinion, he starts the Digimon tradition of a sort of rival character to the protagonist who is mostly represented by the color blue and has some sort of dog theme related to their Digimon. The only exceptions being Kiria, who had dinosaurs, but was still blue. TK kind of filled this role in season 2, or Ken, depending on how you look at it, but, that was the sequel to this. And I think the Aptly Monsters rival, if you can even call him that, used black sort of Digimon and was more sort of like demon-themed. But again, nobody cared about Aptly Monsters, so yeah. Here we are with the next episode. Matt comes into play. Should probably give my quick thoughts on Matt before we go further. When I was a kid, I thought Matt was alright. Matt's whole sort of gimmick is that his, spoilers, I don't even know if this will be in this, his thing is, in the original, his parents are going through a divorce, a very messy one, if I remember correctly, and he's taking it very hard, a lot worse than TK. So that's kind of where he's at in season 1. He's protective over TK. He wants to sort of bond with his little brother, still feel that sense of family, and that's kind of where his character arc went from there in the original. It was fine. It was perfectly functional. I seem to remember he kind of was the stoic, quiet one a lot, so I felt like, even though he wasn't as cookie-cutter as Tai, he didn't stand out to me very much. We'll get to the characters who stood out to me as they get introduced and we meet their Digimon. So this episode reintroduces the character, now wearing purple for some weird reason, and he's already met Garurumon. Why did I say that like that? He already met Garurumon / Gabumon. They're already a team, which kind of takes something away. I feel like when you don't show the introduction, when you don't see how that bond between Digidestined and marketable plush toy starts, you kind of feel like you're missing something. Now, sometimes it works. It works with, like, Rika in Tamers. I'm trying to really remember some of these characters, but it works sometimes if you have an idea. But here it's just like Matt just shows up. They're already partners. They're already perfectly in sync, and Garurumon is just blowing shit up left and right. I feel like you kind of end up missing a big integral part of how you're supposed to meet these characters. I do like the bit where Garurumon and Greymon know each other. I like the way that's done. You get that sense of history, that sense of personality. That's always good to see. Good job there. But that was about it. And I felt like this episode was very much, we're rushing. We gotta do the thing because a giant missile's gonna come and blow up Tokyo and kill everybody unless these two 10-year-olds come and save the day. And the whole time I'm kind of like, this is a little much for second episode of what's going to be like a 50-episode anime. I mean, again, I don't know what the episode count is. I don't know if it's been revealed, but this seems a bit much right off the bat. Because the thing is that, and look, one of the big problems with long-form anime is you have to take so much time in between plot revelations. But in this case, it just seems strange to showing this level of a threat in the second episode. And I know I talked about last week that I like that the real world effects the Digimon are having are serious, but I just feel like this is maybe a bit much right off the bat. The episode treats this like, almost like this is a big finale, but also is juggling introducing Matt, and I feel like neither really work because of this. I sort of felt like Matt was just kind of loner edge boy, and that was it. He doesn't want to work with Tai at first, but then he decides to because they got no choice. He's kind of like, brr, I'm angry, brr this, brr that. Like, that's just his whole tone the whole episode. And I'm just kind of like, Digimon sold itself on the characters and their drama. And if this is trying to recapture that, then shouldn't you introduce characters through just them being natural? Like, shouldn't it be that, not this big epic thing? Well, then you can point out, well, it's trying to be different. It's trying to be its own thing. That's fine, but if you then disregard the original Digimon and all that history I brought up, all that history that I was able to just remember off the top of my head from something from like 20 fucking years ago, that's kind of a problem. So yeah, so then the episode goes on and they're just doing shit and they're fighting the same Digimon again, which is kind of boring. And it's the same boring tentacle thing that they gotta fight again, and then it digivolves into a bigger tentacle thing. And it's got Diaboromon's eyes on its chest. That's kind of cool, I guess. So then they fight it, and they can't beat it. Then it looks like they beat it, and then the missile gets launched. So yeah, that happens. Again, the stakes are kind of too high. Because, like, what's going to happen when we introduce everyone else? Because unless every episode is the U.S. military gets taken over and a nuke is coming for us, I don't know how they're going to keep the tension up going forward. But yeah, no, so the nuke gets fired because I guess it went straight to Mega. Like, if I'm remembering it correctly, Digimon were Champion, Ultimate, then Mega. So my assumption is, oh, it's Ultimate, and because they're two champions and they're strong Digimon, they'll be able to deal with it through teamwork and the power of friendship. No, they can't beat it, and I'm thinking to myself, well, where's this gonna go? And they picked a direction, all right. So yeah, so then, TK and Kari, who are unaware of what's actually going on here, just kind of hanging out, being small children. Can we talk about Kari for a minute? I'll get more into her when Gatomon shows up. But something I noticed about Kari in this, her proportions seem off. Like, her head looks weirdly too big for the rest of her body, so she looks kind of just scrunched up. I don't know, that's just me. Also, is it just me, or is every shot, does she look wildly baffled, or like she's constipated? Please tell me I'm not the only one noticing this. Yeah, no, so then her and TK, without any warning, we get feathers, because their Digimon are angel-themed, and their Digivices go crazy. At least I think they showed Digivices, I don't fucking know. But it shows their crests, and then they somehow make Omnimon / Omegamon. We'll go with Omegamon because it sounds cooler. This is episode 2, people. We're 2 episodes in, and we already have one of the most powerful Digimon just showing up out of nowhere. He just comes in, and it's like, alright, I'm gonna blow you up, and something's gonna happen with the missile, and everyone's gonna be fine. And the problem here is that now you've erased all tension going forward. We'll have to see how Omegamon is used. We'll have to see that. But just going off it right now, like, where's this even supposed to go? Like, because now it's like you have access to this super powerful Digimon who could just show up at any point because, like, no one even knows what the parameters were that allowed for him to show up in the first place. He can just come in at any time, blow shit up, stop the bad guy. What's the point to anyone else? What is the point to tension? Like, you've just kind of gotten rid of that, I guess, to just sell it to investors or just to get old fans in by remaking, like, the one decent Digimon movie. So yeah, it was kind of a bit of a letdown, especially because I really got into the pilot last week, and you can make the argument a lot of what I liked was stuff that can only really happen in a pilot. The way it's introduced, the way it shows off the animation first. I mean, animation was still fine, but I don't know. We'll keep it up with it. We'll see where this goes, and I feel like it'll maybe pick up when it gets more into character drama. But as of right now, this is kind of getting a little weird. But no, we'll definitely keep up with it. We'll talk about it next week. And again, give me your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked it, that's totally fine. Tell me why below. If you didn't like it, that is also totally fine. But yeah, tell me about all that below. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next week as, again, one of the most powerful Digimon just shows up out of nowhere. Where is this going?